Welcome to the Off Label Podcast, your twice weekly dose of sanity in an insane world. Look, came on earlier. We did the Tulsi Gabbard hearing. You're getting your actual show tonight. We got to talk about the Tulsi Gabbard confirmation hearing. We got to talk about the Kash Patel confirmation hearing. And I just want you to keep this thought in the back of your mind as we go through of all these clips and we talk about these things. This is your taxpayer dollars at work. Are you happy with this kind of representation in your country, America? Not to mention, we're going to talk a little bit about the plane crash that kind of happened in D.C. right before these hearings took place. It's kind of a little bit strange. I haven't really tracked it a little bit, but I kind of want to touch on it and give a little bit of first take information for me looking into it. We also have Democratic lawmakers actually trying to make it legal for people to sue the oil companies for, get this, climate change. Because the wildfires in California are caused by climate change, so we need to sue the oil companies, ladies and gentlemen, because they cause climate change. It's fucking retarded. But we're going to get into that as well. We also have, looks like 30 Illinois schools. Absolutely no child within those schools can read at their grade level. Very disturbing trend we're seeing in America. Idiocracy rings a bell. And if we can get into it, Trump order aims to end the federal support for giving gender transition surgeries for anybody under the age of 19. And it looks like there's another scandal involving daycares in Tim Walz area. We'll see. We'll talk about that if we got some time. But ladies and gentlemen, we can't talk about shit until we start the show.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. I'll make it look like I'm losing, won't bother hiding my bruises. And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless.
I bet when you both your tits give each other high five. Feel on March, just 6'2", sleeping on your side. Do you need a passport to roll over? Really jeans don't fit. You look skinnier than tomorrow, Taylor not so straight. Joe Biden, Biden, man, home cooking lazy. Lord of the onion rings, 50 shades of gravy. Mike bites and do use a wind turbine for a fact. You look like a 16:9 ratio, one munch back. Shaquille O'Neal, if you sit on an iPod, you'll make an iPad. Leonardo DiCaprio, Sun Butter Island, I show fat. One digestion, you play for the Miami Heats. 2 chains, Walter Wayne's the one who eats. Rosa Parks doesn't bounce with maximum efficiency. Ariana Extra Grande, Mr. Worldwide, literally. So big, even Helen Keller can see and hear you. Thanos had to snap 20 times to get rid of you. Bruno built like Mars, Johnny Depp bit in rap. Vladimir need protein, Kevin Durant. Shut it.
Those will
just
never
think-
get old.
I just picture Thanos like,
God.
get the fuck out.
One of them is supposed to raise half of life in the universe. How are you not gone? Let's erase the
You
other
are
half.
thick, man. Thick. What's up, everybody?
You have more mass than the supermassive black hole at the center of the universe? What?
This shit was great.
How y'all doing?
All those videos are hilarious. If anybody wants to laugh, go look up a bunch of those chat music songs. Those
Right.
videos are great.
We got Shane in the house. Of course, Jennifer's with us. Muffin Man, Carolyn Haw. How you doing, ma'am? Let's see. Just Rhonda's in the house. We got some things we got to do with Just Rhonda tomorrow. Let's see. Let's see. We got Shane. Louie's here. Louie. Let's see. I know we got, of course, there's Scott popping in.
Yeah.
But we
That's
got Polar Bear on the other side. I'm Two Tweaks in the house. He's going to make me regret giving him that wrench. Redneck Renegade, how y'all doing? Rick Donner's here with us as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a good one tonight. Like, all right. First things first, we got to talk about this Tulsi Gabbard hearing. You said you didn't hear much about it, right?
No, that one I did. I just basically watched the Kash Patel one today, and I only heard her a couple of things she said, like the little snippets on Instagram, but no, I didn't go through much of it at all.
Okay, cool. Because we're gonna play this woman's full opening statement, and right out the bat, she came in with them headshots, dude. And I think it might have put the fear of God in some of these people, because a lot of them were very, very respectful to her.
Okay.
Like there was a few that got out of hand, a few that were just like, motherfucker, take another goddamn, say another word, come YouTube sensitive.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I mean, I've always liked Tulsi Gabbard. I'm sorry, I did say earlier she was a senator. No, she was a congresswoman, but I've always liked her when, she was in Congress sitting there making her arguments. I was like, you got points. And I love what you're saying, but some about you just don't seem right.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2019, during the primary debates, she nuked Kamala Harris, and I was like, I'm all in. You have my sword and shield, ma'am. Let's fucking go. And I haven't been let down yet. But before we get into that, ladies and gentlemen, it was brought up last time. It's going to be shown. I think it was yesterday y'all were talking about Davey riding a bull.
Here
We got
we
the
go.
video. Full screen this motherfucker. Davey riding a mechanical bull, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo! Yeah.
I am disappointed, Davey. How the fuck do you go for what? Oh, that was actually 20 seconds, but he just like bucked you twice and that's it. You just fell off.
I liked how it looked like it was almost like a fake dummy that fell off because he didn't even like try to put his arms out. It was just like
This thing by the 2018 Farm Bill that says THC-A. But yeah, all right. So let's go ahead and get into this because like this was a good one. It kind of had me heated at some points, and I really had to calm the fuck down because let's just say there's one of them that goes a little bit too fucking far, and we will hit this up. But I do hate the fucking fact. I get for national security. I do hate the fucking fact that they went to a closed door session after like halfway through this confirmation hearing. They went to closed door because secrets and national security. Now, I want to know what she's actually got to think. I want to know what she's got to say about this situation because if she's going to be the director of national intelligence, I need to know where the hell she stands on this kind of shit.
right.
I understand literal security and all that. I get you. But y'all have played that security fucking bullshit too much.
Mm-hmm.
Especially
whenever.
drones.
Well, and I hate whenever they play that national security bullshit. Whenever we want to get information that we as citizens, taxpayers, deserve to know, and it's always, well, It's a matter of national security. Really, it's just you saying, no, y'all are too fucking dumb to know, and we shouldn't have to tell you.
Right. But other than that, I mean, there are points if you look at this, if you really watch this hearing and you watch Tulsi's eyes, dude, I'm telling you, I've said it before, she walks with the poise and grace of just this wonderful, just like the defining thing of what, kind of what women should act like in public. But when you look into her eyes, she's like, I'm going to rip your fucking nuts off right here. Walk around, say one more word, I'm ripping your nuts off. And that's what I would love to see, especially coming from our government. The woman's been wearing the fucking uniform for over 20 years now,
I bet she could probably whip basically all the chicks' asses in government, just about.
She could fucking probably play ping pong with Smallwell's nutsack on his forehead.
Right.
I'm just, it wasn't as disgusting as I thought it was going to be. I put it off because I was in Rob's chat listening to the Kash Patel one, but it wasn't as disgusting as what I thought it was going to be. However, like I said, there were some points, but I want you all to listen to her opening speech on this.
Mm-hmm.
Shots fired immediately. And I don't mean that with like being hyperbolic in any way.
Mm-hmm.
Before I begin, I too would like to start by offering my prayers and condolences to those who were killed in last night's horrific crash. Senator Warner, Senator Moran, our condolences and prayers are with you and all of your constituents. Again, Chairman Cotton, Vice Chairman Warner, and all of the members of the committee, it's an honor to be here before you. I've appreciated the opportunity to meet with so many of you and address your questions and concerns before today's hearing. I know they've gone, but I'm grateful to Senators Burr and Ernst for their trust and their confidence in taking time to join us here today. To my husband, Abraham, my family, friends, fellow veterans, Medal of Honor recipients, and patriots, thank you for your love and support. I'm honored and grateful to President Trump for his trust and confidence in nominating me to serve our country as the Director of National Intelligence at a time when trust in the intelligence community, unfortunately, is at an all-time low. Chuck Schumer admitted a few years ago, quote, "You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you."
Yep.
For too long, faulty, inadequate, or weaponized intelligence have led to costly failures and the undermining of our national security and God-given freedoms enshrined in the Constitution. The most obvious example of one of these failures is our invasion of Iraq based upon a total fabrication or complete failure of intelligence. This disastrous decision led to the deaths of tens of thousands of American soldiers, millions of people in the Middle East, mass migration, destabilization, and undermining of the security and stability of our European allies, the rise of ISIS, strengthening of Al-Qaeda and other Islamist jihadist groups, and strengthening Iran. Here are just a few other examples. The American people elected Donald Trump as their president not once, but twice. And yet the FBI and intelligence agencies were politicized by his opponents to undermine his presidency and falsely portray him as a puppet of Putin. Title I of FISA was used illegally to obtain a warrant to spy on Trump campaign advisor Carter Page, using a Clinton campaign-funded false dossier as their so-called evidence. Biden campaign advisor Tony Blinken was the impetus for the 51 former senior intelligence officials' letter dismissing Hunter Biden's laptop as disinformation specifically to help Biden win the election. Former DNI James Clapper lied to this committee in 2013, denying the existence of programs that facilitated the mass collection of millions of Americans' phone and internet records, yet was never held accountable. Under John Brennan's leadership, the CIA abused its power to spy on Congress, to dodge oversight, lied about doing it until he was caught, and yet has never been held responsible. Under Biden, the FBI abused its power for political reasons to try to surveil Catholics who attend traditional Latin Mass, labeling them as quote unquote radical traditionalist Catholics. Personally, just 24 hours after I criticized Kamala Harris and her nomination, I was placed on a secret domestic terror watch list called Quiet Skies. Sadly, there are more examples. The bottom line is this must end. President Trump's reelection is a clear mandate from the American people to break this cycle of failure, end the weaponization and politicization of the intelligence community, and begin to restore trust in those who've been charged with the critical task of securing our nation. If confirmed as DNI, I will do my very best to fulfill this mandate and bring leadership to the intelligence community with a laser-like focus on our essential mission, ensuring the safety, security, and freedom of the American people. As the President's principal intelligence advisor, I'll begin by leading by example, checking my own personal views at the door, and committing to delivering intelligence that is collected, analyzed, and reported without bias, prejudice, or political influence. I enlisted in the Army because of the horrific terrorist attack on September 11th and volunteered to deploy to Iraq in 2005, where I served in a medical unit. After nearly 22 years in uniform with 3 combat deployments to the Middle East and Africa, I'm now a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army Reserve, where I serve as a battalion commander of soldiers in Oklahoma, Missouri, and Arkansas. I served in Congress for 8 years on the Homeland Security, Foreign Affairs, and Armed Services committees. And it's my experience in the military and in the halls of Congress that have given me a deep understanding of the complex challenges that our nation faces, in both roles engaging with world leaders, in both roles being privy to highly classified intelligence. So I know firsthand how essential accurate, unbiased, and timely intelligence is to the President, to Congress, and to our warfighters. I also know the heavy cost of intelligence failures and abuses. Senator Collins, you led the creation of ODNI specifically to address those intelligence failures of 9/11 and Iraq's so-called WMDs. The need for the ODNI under strong leadership still exists today. If confirmed, I'll bring my experience and
fucking lady's face, Jesus.
the intelligence community. And
She's
my
got
day one
Parkinson's.
priorities will be
It's starting to set in.
Yeah,
You can
that
see her
was-
when she was
threat
talking. She was
environment,
literally just
identify
shaking.
where gaps
Yeah.
in our
Joe?
intelligence exist, integrate intelligence elements, increase information sharing, and ensure that unbiased, apolitical, objective collection and analysis to support the president and policymakers' decision-making occur. I'll work to end the politicization of the intelligence community and ensure there is a clear mission focus in the IC on its core mission of this unbiased, apolitical collection and analysis of intelligence to secure our nation. I'll work to rebuild trust through transparency and accountability. This is a national security imperative. And I'll work to assess and address efficiencies, redundancies, and effectiveness across ODNI to ensure focus of personnel and resources is on our core mission of national security. In my meetings that I've had with many of you, you expressed bipartisan frustration about recent intelligence failures, as well as the lack of responsiveness to your requests for information. Whether it's the surprise October 7th Hamas terrorist attack, to the sudden takeover of Syria by Islamist extremists, failures to identify the source of COVID, anomalous health incidents, UAPs, drones, and more. If confirmed, I look forward to working with you to address these issues. Ensuring the safety, security, and freedom of the American people is a mandate of leadership that rises above partisan politics. If confirmed, my commitment to the president, to you, and to the American people is this: I will do my very best to find the truth, no matter where it leads, and share that truth with President Trump, his advisors, and you in Congress, providing you with that unbiased, timely, and accurate intelligence as you make the tough decisions that'll impact the safety, security, and freedom of the American people. Now, before I close, I want to warn the American people who are watching at home. You may hear lies and smears in this hearing that'll challenge my loyalty to and my love for our country. Those who oppose my nomination imply that I am loyal to something or someone other than God, my own conscience, and the Constitution of the United States, accusing me of being Trump's puppet, Putin's puppet, Assad's puppet, a guru's puppet, Modi's puppet, not recognizing the absurdity of simultaneously being the puppet of 5 different puppet masters. The same tactic was used against President Trump and failed. The American people elected President Trump with a decisive victory and mandate for change. The fact is, what truly unsettles
Zach?
my political opponents is I refuse to be their puppet. I have no love for Assad or Gaddafi or any dictator. I just hate Al-Qaeda. I hate that we have leaders who cozy up to Islamist extremists, minimizing them to so-called rebels. As Jake Sullivan said to Hillary Clinton, quote, Al-Qaeda is on our side in Syria. Well, Syria is now controlled by an Al-Qaeda offshoot, HTS, led by an Islamist jihadist who danced in the streets on 9/11 and who was responsible for the killing of many American service members. Democrat senators in the past resorted to anti-Christian bigotry against some of President Trump's judicial nominees like Amy Coney Barrett and Brian Boucher. I condemn those actions as a Democrat in Congress at the time, as religious bigotry must be thoroughly condemned by all of us, no matter the religion. Unfortunately, there are some Democrat senators who still don't understand the principle of freedom of religion and Article 6 of the Constitution. Quote, no religious test shall ever be required as a qualification to any office or public trust under the United States. Unfortunately, they're once again using the religious bigotry card, but this time trying to foment religious bigotry against Hindus and Hinduism. If anyone is sincerely interested in knowing more about my own personal spiritual path of Hinduism, I welcome you to go to my account on X, where I'll share more on this topic. If confirmed as Director of National Intelligence, I will continue to live by the oath that I have sworn at least 8 times in my life, both in uniform and as a member of Congress. I will support and defend our God-given freedoms enshrined in the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. Thank you very much for your time. I look forward to your questions.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why they did play nice. I think Jennifer did actually fucking call it. Like,
Probably,
straight out
yeah.
the bat, she was just like, bitch, this is a stance. This is where it's going to go, and this is how it's going to be. I will be confirmed. Go fuck yourself. It's that confidence from her. It's that look, that poison grace that she does, in public. But yet, when it comes to a situation like this, it's a kind of a situation you're just going to be like, I'm going to be a gimp motherfucker if I speak out of turn. You know?
Right. Yeah. No, I like the way she put everything just straight out.
Right. And it was actually amazing because I thought they were going to be bad. I thought they were going to be bad with her because, ever since she left Congress and everything like that, she's been outspoken about things. To the whole point that this was this was a little while back, not that long ago, that she put this out there before, her confirmation hearing. Listen to this shit.
Watch me know that I use the word Democrat elite a lot. People ask me, who are these Democrat elite that you speak of? Yes, it's people like Joe Biden, people like Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer. But it's important to recognize that it is also unelected officials like Fauci, who has shown his entire career serving under both Democrat and Republican administrations through his actions that he serves his own interests and the interests of big pharma and big government consistently over the interests of the American people. The insidious part about this is that he and others take these actions and abuse their power in the name of working for our best interests when in fact they are doing the exact opposite. For example, as you remember, during COVID, Dr. Fauci demanded that we place blind faith in him and the government. They said, just trust us, just trust the science, that we are acting in the interest of your public health. But over time, we saw what it was really about. It was about control. It was about more money, huge amounts of money, our taxpayer dollars being put directly into the pockets of big pharma. They didn't care about the truth. In fact, they outwardly and very brazenly rejected science, rejected the truth, and just labeled their lies as science and the truth.
Yes. But yeah, Ever since the
Yeah, right, Shane? I am the science.
ever since the primaries back in 2020, like I felt like that woman right then and there, like that moment, you could look in her eyes as that was going on. There was a moment in there where she just said, "Fuck it, I'm done.
Yeah.
Everything they're saying up here is a goddamn lie. I'm done." And she just kind of nuked the whole thing, and she's just like, "Peace."
Mhm.
But I'll tell you this, before we get any further, if she ever runs for president, she has my vote.
Yeah, I think me too. It like, well, that so far, it'll all depend like on if she stands strong on her past points of view that may have been problematic in ways, mainly Second Amendment and whatnot. But I think she's changed a lot of that, and we'll see how it goes. But I think that she could very well have the best chance to be the first female president. Absolutely.
It'll probably be from the Republican fucking party.
Yeah, right.
That'll be the most amazing thing about it. But yeah, I've watched Tulsi for a while, even before her run. Like when I was kind of surprised. I started paying attention to her right before she announced her run for presidency, and I was kind of surprised about it because I was like, "Who the fuck is this woman?" You know, she's supposed to be in the Democrat position. I still considered myself a Democrat back then. You know,
Hmm.
and I'm just like, I started listening to her, and I'm just like, shit. She's saying the things I want to fucking hear.
Hmm.
And ever since then, I've just been every chance I get. I mean, I'll listen to exactly what she's got to say, whether I agree with it or not. I'm gonna hear
Right.
this woman out. You
Hmm.
know? But yeah, there was let's get into one of these over the top, egregious fucking moments from her hearing.
All right.
This is Senator Warner here, who had a hard on for Snowden the entire damn hearing. This motherfucker could not let it go. But from Frank Oz and a whole bunch of numbers, I'm not going to read them out for you, brother. At Tulsi Gabbard confirmation hearing today, I am a strong Snowden supporter. He exposed illegal NSA snooping of Americans. Tulsi is also a strong Snowden supporter. She is on the right side of history. This exchange was enlightening. And this got disgusting. But
Publicly outspoken in your praise and defense of Edward Snowden.
sorry, that's as high as I can get it.
Someone who betrayed the trust of our nation and jeopardized the security of our country. The truth is, the vast majority of the information he stole and leaked before running off to China and Russia, might I add, had nothing to do with Americans' privacy and compromised our most important sources and methods. And in many ways, we're still paying a price for that.
Why should people care about surveillance? Because even if you're not doing anything wrong, you're being watched and recorded, and the storage capability of these systems
I wish I could make this louder.
every year
Yeah.
consistently by orders of magnitude, to where it's getting to the point you don't have to have done anything wrong. You simply have to eventually fall under suspicion from somebody, even by a wrong call. And then they can use the system to go back in time and scrutinize every decision you've ever made.
You talking about
every
this one,
friend
Jennifer?
You've ever discussed something with, and attack you on that basis to sort of derive suspicion from an innocent life and paint anyone in the context of a wrongdoer.
That's Edward Snowden. Judge Gerald Lynch wrote in his opinion in this case, quote, "The sheer volume of information sought is staggering. While search warrants and subpoenas for business records may encompass large volumes of paper documents or electronic data, the most expansive such evidentiary demands are dwarfed by the volume of records obtained pursuant to the orders in question here."
You've celebrated Snowden as a, quote, brave whistleblower, and actually put forward legislation asking for his pardon. Furthermore, when given the opportunity to clarify your position in pre-hearing questions, you declined. And instead you expressed, and again, I quote, "The DNI has no role in determining whether or not Edward Snowden is a lawful whistleblower."
Sir, The director of national intelligence is supposed to gather up the intelligence, make sure it is legitimate, and hand it off to the people who need to make those decisions, whether he is legitimate or not. She
Mm-hmm.
is 100% correct. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that you want her or anybody in that role to do your job so you can sit there and say yes or no is incredibly fucking pathetic.
Right.
Well, that is troubling to me in so many ways.
That's a real statist motherfucker.
Basically. But I bring that up because he had a hard on for Snowden. He's just like, you got to admit that he's not a legitimate whistleblower. And she's like, yes, he broke the law. But the amount of information he shared about how the American people were being spied on by the federal fucking government, violating, openly, blatantly violating the Fourth Amendment of the United States is something that needs to be brought up.
Right. It's like, yeah, he broke the law. Get it. Got it. So did the American government against every fucking individual in the country. So.
And then there was another one that had a fucking come apart about that situation. Now, I will admit, Warner was kind of, he was kind of a bit rude, but he was respectful with it. But that came absolutely nothing close to what fucking Senator Bennett did. This motherfucker had a come apart over Snowden, literally yelling at her to get her to say that he is a terrorist, that he committed treason.
Well, I was gonna say, so far it's been all like it's always the Democrats that do it, and usually it's been the Democrat ladies, and I guess he's just gonna fit right in with the Democrat women, huh?
Well, I mean,
Lady Bennett, that's what I'm gonna call him.
He does need to dilate his bonus hole and change his tampon, yes. But this dude had a come apart for absolutely no reason.
Traitor to the United States of America.
Senator, I will also repeat my answer. He broke the law.
You said earlier that you were offended by a question that my colleague from Kansas asked, which I think was his
He does
duty
kind of
as
sound like he's
somebody on
slurring.
this committee to fulfill his responsibility to advise and consent. We are not here to be a rubber stamp for the President of the United States. So let me ask you again, do you believe, as the chairman of this committee believes,
What up, Tony?
as
Hi.
the vast majority of members of our intelligence agencies believe, that Edward Snowden was a traitor to the United States of America?
Senator, if confirmed
This
as
is when the
Director of
rubber
National
hits the road.
Intelligence,
This is
I
what
will
this
work
is not.
with you to.
How are you going to ask a question and as soon as she says Senator, you start talking again?
Yeah, because they love to do that. All the Democrats love to do that shit.
And he's getting pissed because she's interrupting him right now.
Mm-hmm.
If I ask you a question, then interrupt you and then get pissed that you interrupt me.
Right.
The fuck? Anyway.
Make sure
This
that
is
there is
not
not
a
another
moment for
Snowden-like
social
leak.
media. It's not a moment to propagate theories, conspiracy theories, or attacks on journalism
that?
in the United States. This
Nobody.
is when you need to answer the questions of the people whose votes you're asking for to be confirmed as the
What up,
chief
Lord?
intelligence officer of this nation. As my colleague said, this is not about you. It's about the people that serve the intelligence agencies of the United States. Is Edward Snowden a traitor to the United States of America? That is not a hard question to answer.
He's looking at
when
him
the
like, you
stakes are
fucking
this
asshole.
high.
It's not a hard question to answer when the stakes are this high. Okay, just like I said when I was covering this myself. It's not a hard question. Yes, did he break the law? 100%. Should he have any kind of legal ramifications for breaking the law the way he did? Yes, 100%. However, I will take a leniency on this man, and especially seeing as how he has been literally spent 12 years in another fucking country because you want him assassinated.
Right. Steve, I mean,
think
I
it's good enough for him to say, come on the fuck home after everything he gave you to tell you that the government is fucking violating your Fourth Amendment rights because they want to call you a terrorist.
Right. And I mean, I get what you're saying, but I'd also be like, yeah, I guess you could say, yeah, maybe he should receive some sort of punishment. But the only way I would agree with that is if the punishment was retroactive into the government for doing what they did for breaking the law against all the citizens of the United States.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
You want him to actually serve time behind prison or
Then you
behind
better
bars in prison?
then you
Get
better
your
take
ass in
care of
there
the other
first.
part. Yeah.
Get your ass in there first. Don't even play.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it still goes off to the little Twitter shit where they were actually having another company censor because of all the shit that Snowden leaked. Oh, well, we can't do that ourselves. Remember what happened with Snowden? Hey, we were spying on them. They know about that shit now. So we can't blatantly fucking censor them. They're not going to actually fucking, they're not going to know. You know, it's not like
Right.
they're not going to figure it the fuck out.
Yeah.
It pissed me off because I had a hard on for this motherfucker from the very beginning. And she's been a strong supporter of Snowden. She said, yeah, he broke the law. He deserves to actually pay for that. But like I said, I'm going to give him leniency for everything he showed us because
Right.
he
Yeah.
brought the fucking receipts.
Right. Like they're wanting to do that to him and everything else. And yeah, Phoenix, like, yeah, who in the government was even fired, let alone prosecuted, but they want to keep going after him. It just shows the control and everything that they think that should be good or is what they think is good in the Democrat side, especially.
Right.
Which that's number one. Another number one thing. Dear Lord, I wish fucking Trump would sign an executive order to get rid of the Patriot Act and tell TSA to fuck off and get rid of a whole bunch of other shit with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, Lieutenant Byrd did get a fucking pay raise. And I think it was a promotion for that shit. I think he got more than a pay raise for that. I think there was actually a promotion involved in that for something. I forget. But yeah, it's this dude. He has a come apart about Edward Snowden, and he really gets into actually kind of like to the point of yelling at Tulsi for not saying that this motherfucker is treasonous and should therefore be subjected
Yeah.
to the punishment of treason. But
that Russian tanks were rolling across the peaceful border of Ukraine for the first time. You tweeted at 11:30 p.m. your time. This war and suffering could have easily been avoided if Biden administration / NATO had simply acknowledged Russia's legitimate security concerns regarding Ukraine's becoming a member of NATO. Did you say that, yes or no?
I believe you're reading my tweet, Senator.
Yes is the answer. A few months later, you said on your podcast, and I quoted it, quote, but this regime change war against Russia that
right,
the U.S. and NATO are waging
patriotic fucking
via
duty.
their proxy in Ukraine didn't begin when Putin invaded Ukraine. They had their eyes set on this objective long before that. Did you say that, yes or no?
I believe you're reading my tweet.
Thank
There's
you.
a lot
the answer
more.
is yes.
You're
The-
quoting a podcast that
I'm
provided
happy
much
to have
more
a conversation
context.
That's as
with the
high as it goes,
chairman
Tony
about
Hay.
whether I'm taking anything out of context. I don't
I can
think
take the whole
am.
thing from
And
it,
your
but
answer is yes. Are you aware that your comments about proxy wars and Russia's legitimate security concerns, to quote your own words, are in alignment with what the Russians have said to justify their invasion of Ukraine? Yes or
Senator,
no?
I don't pay attention to Russian
So I'll
propaganda.
take
My
that as
goal is to
I'll
speak
take
the
that as
truth,
the answer is no.
regardless of whether
Thank
you like
you.
it or not.
I'll take it. That's fine. You said you are used to speaking truth to power.
Yes.
I'm shocked to hear you now say that, you know, you are agreeing. I'm not shocked because I know you said it. You are agreeing that you basically
yeah, that
said
actually
that
happened.
Putin was justified in rolling over the peaceful border of Ukraine, the first time since World War II that a free nation had been invaded by a totalitarian state. And you were there at 11:30 p.m. that night to say that you were with them, not us. And let me tell you something. You say you don't know because you don't read Russian propaganda. Russian state TV then aired your comments. Did you know
I
that?
can't.
Senator, I think you should also quote the statement that I made criticizing Putin for his invasion
What
of
I would
Ukraine.
Mr. Chairman, with the last, it's up to all of us. We're the Senate. We get to decide whether we're going to confirm this nominee. Obviously, we didn't select this nominee. But can't we do better than somebody who doesn't believe in 702? Can't we believe that somebody who can't answer whether Snowden was a traitor 5 times today,
Right.
who made excuses
You
for
snapped up
Vladimir
like the
Putin's
fuck.
invasion of Ukraine, the first time that I'm aware of any American official has done that?
Whoa.
I'm questioning her judgment. That's the issue that's at stake here. And as you said, and I totally agree, this is about our intelligence officers. And you cannot answer. Most of what we do here is in secret. This is one of the very few opportunities that you will ever have to have a conversation with this panel in public. And the record is going to be very clear about the position you took with regard to Edward Snowden. And the record is going to be very clear about your reaffirmation of the statements you made in the middle of the night when Russia was invading the free country of Ukraine. And
Senator
I hope
Bennett,
we will
your
take
time-
that in
your time has expired.
consideration when
Senator
we
Bennett.
have this vote.
Your time has expired.
That was about the worst one in her fucking hearing. And I'm sorry it was a little bit low. I could go back to the entire thing and just give you all that round of questioning from that dude, but it would probably get me to a point where I may want to get violent again. I mean, it was incredibly fucking disgusting. It's like, first of all, you have no respect for the people in uniform at that point. You went after her because you were told to, and all because you had a hard-on for Snowden. Like, you disgusting piece of shit. You went after this woman hard fucking core who served for over 24 fucking, or for over 20 fucking years, still has the uniform, still wears the uniform, the perfect fucking person to be in this position. And you want to scream and yell at her because of Edward Snowden. Like, what the fuck, man?
That was stupid. The
I
dude just fucking yelling and shit. Like, dude.
I can't do it anymore with these people, man. I really fucking can't. I can't do it anymore. I cannot sit here and sit back and just be like, oh, this is business as fucking usual. These are the most crooked motherfuckers. And they're the ones that tell you how to live your life by making the laws to tell you how to live your life.
Right.
Yet they're sitting there, as you guys have pointed out, he probably is drunk. It did sound like he was slurring and kind of. They live above the laws that your ass would go to would be sent to Gitmo for. It's disgusting, dude. I've had enough. I really fucking have. Like, there was no reason to get pissed off at Tulsi Gabbard to the point of screaming and yelling because she didn't denounce him as a goddamn treasonous son of a bitch 5 times.
Right.
Like, wipe your fucking asshole, dude.
Yeah, why don't you chill the fuck out?
But I will admit this, at least Tom Cotton was great as the chairman of that. He was great as the chairman of that. And he did get his jab in. And I will say this. Well said, Mr. Cotton.
Former National Security Advisor John Bolton published a book in which he revealed sensitive conversations with the president on national security matters, including highly classified information. He didn't submit this book for review and approval to ensure that our national security secrets were protected. Do you agree that John Bolton's actions
Must be held
likewise
to a higher
undermine
standard
public
than
trust?
us?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Will you commit that no one who so abuses his past position and risks the exposure of classified information by publishing a book without submitting it for review and getting approval before publication will hold a security clearance again or be trusted with classified information again?
Yes.
Thank you.
Fuck you, John Bolton. Why did you have to zoom into this fucked up teeth?
Right.
It's like all the anger and frustration he did just like ground the fucking teeth down. Like he said, yeah. That hurt.
Was it if itchy asshole was a face?
Swamp mouth, I guess.
Right. Swamp mouth.
John Bolton, swamp mouth.
There you go.
Nice to meet you. But But nah, I do want to say Tom Cotton, a great fucking shot at that one. Great shot for that. That was amazing. But there really wasn't much more about that. Now, I will say this. As well as she did, I think it's going to be a fight for her.
I kind of do too. I wouldn't be surprised if she did get in, but it might be a little bit of a fight.
She's going to get
It's
in.
definitely going to be a
But
fight for Cash to get in. I'll tell you that.
There's going to be, oh yeah. But there's going to have to be some backroom dealings for her. Because
Mhm.
there are way too many people who'd be like, this bitch gets in, I'm going to prison. You know, I can't, what am I going to do? I'm just going to literally vote for her to come get me. Like, there's too much going on. So I don't know. Maybe, some immunity might be handed out for things like that. I don't know how that would happen, but I kind of feel like these motherfuckers are running, dude. They're running
Yeah.
fucking scared.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. What do you think of Tulsi?
I like her for the most part. Like I said before, it's just I still am very I still hold reservation just for the fact of some of the points of views that she expressed in the past, mainly Second Amendment wise and stuff. But she
Agreed.
also has came up in ways to admit that she knows that she was wrong about some of that. Like whenever she went on Drinker Bros, that was pretty good. Now it still is a little weird for her to go against the 702 thing and then now say that she wants it. So I mean, but I mean, I understand that 702 needs to be reformed. Maybe it's a necessary thing, whatever else. But again, doesn't matter about that. It's the matter of you were against it. Now you want it. Those are reasons to somewhat hold reservations. But I will say I do like her, and I think she probably will do a damn good job in the position, nonetheless.
Right. Well, the whole 702 thing was because it was used over 700,000 times to spy on American citizens. And
Yeah.
I'd be against it if it was used for that too. But yes, it is a necessary thing. It needs to actually be there.
I mean, it's done some good shit, but there needs to be more reform with it and stuff,
Right.
or not used in stupid fucking ways. And yeah. So
Right.
yeah.
Because if I talk to my neighbor who may or may not have some kind of connection to somebody, and I don't know, I talk to my neighbor, oh, they're looking into him. All of a sudden you can spy on me because I said, hey, how you doing today? You know?
Yeah,
Or
I
go
know
over there
Phoenix.
and be like,
Her
can I get a little bit
position.
of sugar?
It's like, yeah, her position doesn't have effect on 2A, but that doesn't matter to me. Anyone's position against a 2A matters to me. That's my thing.
I mean, it kind of
but
does.
that's how I am. That's me though. Yeah.
It kind of does, because once you get the full sentiment, no, well, not full sentiment, but once you get a vast majority of sentiment in all of government, it's going down that way.
Yeah.
You know, there's no turning that back unless the people themselves kind of get rowdy about it.
Yeah.
So when there is more support in government than not, beyond the whole fact if you can do some wheeling and dealing to get the votes, when it becomes a majority support, it's going to happen in government.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I know.
there are some things that you do kind of got to watch out for. However, there are connections with her.
It's
with
still
the
like the whole Pam Bondi thing.
Right.
I still don't like her position for even being for red flag laws, period, at all in any way, shape, or form. But
Right.
again, that's me. That is she probably gonna be good in that position? Sure.
I mean,
I just hold real reservations still on a lot of things. I'm waiting to see all what goes down and stuff. Yeah.
I was kind of off put by Pam Bondi at first. Granted, I didn't know anything about her. Never really heard her. Davey showed me that one clip and she had this like deep ass southern accent. And I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not, because I know the retards that come out of my area. All right. I don't want that in government again. But I heard her hearing and I was just like, I get it. I get it. She's got that tough exterior attitude of, no, go fuck you. I stand on my own principles.
Yeah. Yeah.
I disagree. Gotta give you credit for that.
I gotta give her credit for fucking looking great for being 6 years old too. Shit. I was like, damn. They said she was 60. I was like, no fucking way.
I thought she was literally just barely pushing 40.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
what
she
I
was
thought,
like
like
my
40,
age, and
40,
I'm like,
maybe 43 or something. Yeah.
this bitch got grandkids,
hmm
and her kids ain't like half her age. Wait a minute. But yeah, Pam Bondi did kind of surprise me through her hearing, and I gotta okay. You have my attention.
Yeah.
Is all I've got with her right now.
Yeah.
But as far as Kash Patel is concerned, sir, you have my sword and shield as well. From the moment your ass got out, you were speaking the fuck up, and you're like, I ain't taking this shit lying down. Kash Patel has been awesome, and he had his hearing today. That was a
Mhm.
shit show.
Yeah, it kind of was.
That was bad. Like, everybody hates this motherfucker, of course, because he was an FBI. He was in the FBI, like really big in the FBI, and a kind of I'm not gonna say a big wig, but he was at least calling shots. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
this dude kind of gets out, and as soon as he does, starts speaking the fuck up about what was going on in the FBI while he was there. And the backlash from not just the media, but the government itself to that man alone
Right.
speaks volumes and should scare the living shit out of every single American citizen. But let's go ahead and hit up his opening speech from today.
Chairman Grassley, Ranking Member Durbin, and members of the Judiciary Committee, thank you for the opportunity to appear today. I must start with a word of prayer for the tragic accident that befell our nation last night, where we lost civilians and service members. I pray for their families. I pray for law enforcement and military personnel, and I pray for their souls, and hopefully God will find them peace in the near future. I'd like
It's
to
on
welcome my
deck.
father, Pramod, and my mother, Anjana, who are sitting here today. They traveled here to get here from India. My sister's also here, Nisha. She also traversed the oceans just to be with me here today. It means the world that you guys are here. Jesse Krishna.
They kind of look like you would expect them to.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie.
Mhm.
They're like literally. They are the stereo. Yeah, okay. It's
Take or come again.
stereotypical. Do not waste the juice.
Mhm.
But yeah,
I wouldn't be here today without their guidance, their unwavering support, and their relentless love. When President Trump informed me of his intention to nominate me as the director of the FBI, I was deeply honored. Sitting here today, I carry not only the dreams of my parents, but also the hopes of millions of Americans who stand for justice, fairness, and the rule of law. My commitment to these principles is deeply rooted in my family's history, which has profoundly shaped my worldview.
I'd have said it.
My father fled Idi Amin's genocidal dictatorship in Uganda, where 300,000 men, women, and children were killed based on their ethnicity, just because they happen to look like me. My mother is originally from Tanzania. She studied in India, as did my dad, and they were married there. They would later emigrate to New York, as the senator pointed out, where I was born, and we were raised in a household of my father's 7 siblings, their spouses, and at least half a dozen children. That's the only way we knew how to do things at the time in the 70s and 80s, the Indian way. But we would soon learn the American way. These values have shaped and been the driving force of my career in 16 years of government service. Protecting the rights of the Constitution is of the utmost importance to me and has been every single time I've taken that oath of office. The recent terrorist attacks in New Orleans tragically claimed the lives of 14 innocent Americans and serve as a stark reminder that our national security is at threat, both internally and externally.
Not just
the
Amy.
FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the Department of Justice, where I served, play a pivotal role in securing our freedoms and our safeties for American citizens. If confirmed as the next FBI director, I will remain focused on the FBI's core mission. That is to investigate fully wherever there is a constitutional factual basis to do so, and to never make a prosecutorial decision that is solely the providence of the Department of Justice and the Attorney General. For the first 8 years after law school, I served as a public defender, first for Miami-Dade County and later for the Southern District of Florida. During that time, I represented some pretty awful human beings charged with some pretty heinous crimes. But what I learned there was the core value that has been enshrined in me since. That due process must be provided
Sacrifice to the
bias
fire gods.
to all Americans. And if we cannot provide due process to the worst, then there can be no due process for anyone. And our constitutional republic fails. But I battled on that hill for that due process. I would later serve in the Obama Justice Department as a terrorism prosecutor in the National Security Division, where we successfully contributed to the prosecutions of terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda, Al-Shabaab, and others. I was honored to receive the 2017 Assistant Attorney General's Award
What
from
up,
Loretta
Stacey?
Lynch for my work in helping the Ugandans bring members of Al-Shabaab to justice for murdering 74 innocent people, including an American. I would also receive the Human Intelligence Award from the intelligence community for related work on that mission. My experiences at the National Security Division it would later be followed by my experiences on the National Security Council as Senior Director for Counterterrorism, and later as the Deputy Director of National Intelligence, responsible for the production, creation, and promulgation of the Presidential Daily Briefing, our nation's most sensitive classified information and secrets to protect our country. My time in the White House was preceded by my time right here in Congress as a staffer on the House Intelligence Committee, where I spearheaded the investigation that exposed serious FISA, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act abuses.
Tony
by
Hayes
members of the
seems to be
Department of Justice
mad.
and the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
I get you, though.
That
I get the
misconduct
argument, Tony
eroded the
Hay.
public trust in our FBI. The erosion of trust, as Chairman Grassley pointed out, is all too low today. 40% of Americans have trust in the FBI. In order to get it back, there's a twofold track, Senator. One, violent crime is exploding in this country, and we cannot afford them to allow it to run away. We must tackle violent crime. Just in 2023 alone, there was 100,000 rapes, 100,000 drug overdoses, and 17,000 homicides.
God
The
damn.
priority of the FBI, if I'm confirmed, will be to ensure that our communities are protected and safeguarded and our children have parks to play in and not needles to walk over. The way we do this, we let good cops be cops. We let law enforcement and we provide them with the tools necessary and resources they need to get after violent crime. The second way we do this on equal track is aggressive constitutional oversight from Congress. The public trust can only be restored if there is full transparency, and I am committed to that full transparency. Members of Congress have unfortunately submitted hundreds of questions that have been unanswered by the FBI in recent times.
My eyes are
That
heavy
will
for
not
other
occur if I am
reasons.
confirmed. All appropriate requests for information will be responded to expeditiously and fully. I'm committed to working alongside the dedicated men and women of the FBI. They are warriors of justice, and I will always have their backs because they have the backs of the American people. I look forward to answering your questions, and I want to take a moment to thank my family, my friends, people who traveled here, and my entire team that has made this day possible. God bless America.
I get
and
your
look
point,
forward to
Tony.
your questions.
Like I said, I get your point, brother. But yeah, that was his opening statement. Y'all came in kind of a little bit of a wrong time, but you know what time it is. It's been roughly around that hour mark. We're going to skip the little intro kind of thing here. We're going to come back with some more Kash Patel kind of situation. We got to get through this because there are some other things brewing out there as well we need to talk about. But you got the link, ladies and gentlemen, and now you have 3 minutes. We'll be right back. Woo!
You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro, don't waste your time no more. Who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a damn if you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move, I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna fucking do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions, they blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen, that shit is all fiction. Cause you hold the power as long as you're driven.
There's no way that you make it, and maybe you could fake it, but you're never gonna make it.
Are you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Are you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Or will you fucking fight back?